Yes, us. Welcome to Greek Like Me, the podcast about all things Greek. I'm your host, Pamela Diodes Wood. Email us at stealthgreek@gmail.com to share comments, questions, and stories about anything and everything Greek. Καλή Χρονιά. Happy New Year. Χρόνια Πολλά. Many years of good health, good fortune, joy, and all good wishes for 2026. We want to share some of the most popular Greek customs for New Year's through Epiphany. We're going to include some very cool New Year's traditions of Northern Greece, but that would be an entire episode by itself. So we suggest listeners check out Northern Greece's pagan customs of Christmas at tatakis.com, TATAKIS.com, the website of award-winning photographer George Tatakis, where you can also read about the customs for the New Year in Northern Greece and see some amazing photos. The Kalikansuri have been busy in our house this Christmas holiday. Those little demons of the season. Our fully decorated tree came down on December 22nd. Luckily stopped from hitting the floor by a desk, which miraculously came out unscathed. Clean up, making a fresh cut on the tree to stabilize it, setting everything back up, took the better part of a day. Many thanks to Omar for his help. You little so-and-sos, Kalikansuri. We had a dog health scare with our geriatric lab mix, but she's doing fine now. And I found my mother's long-lost recipe for the Vasilopita, St. Basil's bread, and made it for the first time ever. Her handwriting is worse than mine, and she had an interesting way of circling back and around, so mistakes were made. And it took forever. I've never had a sweetbread dough look like that. But they baked up nicely and tasted fine. I won the coin, so things are looking up. Somehow we're still getting this episode out before the end of the month. In our last episode, we described some of the many Christmas traditions of Greece. The holiday is celebrated over the course of the 12 days, or Dodaka Imeron. So today we're covering the rest. Most of the days between Christmas and the New Year are saints' days, or important events recounted in church history. For example, December 28th is the day of the martyrs of Nicomedes, an ancient Greek city in what is now Turkey, where in the 4th century Christians were massacred and their church burned down by the reigning Roman emperor. December 29th is the day of the Holy Innocents, commemorating the murder of the infants in Bethlehem by King Herod in an effort to destroy the Christ child. Even as Greeks are celebrating and partying throughout the 12 days, the church remembers the fallen, memory eternal. January 1st is an especially festive celebration. We mentioned last time that Christmas is a happy time, but more of a religious observance. The real partying goes down on the New Year. The church commemorates the circumcision and naming of the infant Jesus in the temple. The Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, GOARC website explains, this act showed that Jesus took true human flesh upon himself. And one of the most important doctrines in the Orthodox faith, this day shows Christ is both divine and human simultaneously. Hey, God can do anything. January 1st is also the feast day of St. Vasilis, aka St. Basil the Great, one of the 3 hierarchs of the original church, along with St. John Chrysostom and St. Gregory the Theologian, the most pious and influential of the church fathers whose teachings helped shape Orthodox theology. St. Basil was the beloved 4th century bishop of Caesarea. He was a great orator and teacher and defended the faith against Arian heresies. He established monasteries that became the standard in the Middle East. But he is most beloved for his generosity and caring. He was born in the Greek region of Cappadocia in Asia Minor to a wealthy, pious family. He inherited large sums, naturally, but donated all of it to benefit the poor and the sick, choosing to live in poverty himself. He founded hospitals, homes for the indigent, the elderly, and orphans. He said, "I will show my faith in my works, and that must be the touchstone of my sincerity," emphasizing it's not enough to accept Christ, but in accepting him we must do as he directed and live according to his example. This is the Orthodox vision, with St. Basil as the example of kindness and generosity. Saint Basil is the Greek Santa Claus. While children sleep on New Year's Eve, Saint Basil comes silently in the night by boat from Caesarea, bringing gifts for the children. In return, Greeks set out not milk and cookies as thanks, but a place at the feast table. Some leave an entire table full of food all night so St. Basil can sit down and eat whenever he shows up. In addition, some families set out sweets, pomegranates, and a glass of water so St. Basil can refresh himself and sweeten his tongue so that the house may remain fresh and sweet all year long. In Syros, the custom is to leave 2 dishes of cakes, a pomegranate, a bowl of water, and a pestle. George Megas, in his book Greek Calendar Customs, remind us of the Greek belief that saints come down to earth on their feast day. Greek farmers traditionally believed St. Basil would visit their animals on New Year's Eve, so they washed them and brushed them so they'd look their best for him. St. Basil's feast, the animals get wheat and some of the sweetbread made especially for the day instead of oats. Fishermen and others making their living on the sea or rivers throw sweets, pomegranates, and coins into their boats as an offering to the saint. New Year's Day is the day Greeks exchange gifts rather than Christmas. These gifts often include a gori, a charm for good luck. The charm might be in the shape of a pomegranate or the eye, maybe made of crystal or glass, for hanging on the Christmas tree or the front door, or to wear or carry in your purse. Gifting good luck. Last episode, we explained the importance of keeping the Christmas log in the fireplace burning for the entire 12 days of Christmas, both to honor Christ and to discourage the evil goblins of Christmas time, the Kalikansari. But the specially chosen log in the fireplace has another function. On New Year's Eve, it's positioned vertically to allow St. Basil to more easily step down into the house from the chimney. Does this mean the entrance of Santa Claus via chimney is of Greek origin? Greeks invented everything. We also mentioned that decorating model boats in honor of St. Basil is a tradition throughout Greece, and anyone owning a boat decorates them for the holiday season to welcome St. Basil, who traveled throughout the rivers of his region by boat. The new year is celebrated as new beginnings, and there are many traditions to make sure Greeks get off on the right foot, literally and figuratively. At midnight, there are fabulous fireworks. Besides being fun and beautiful, the loud noises from the explosions scare off any lingering bad luck from the old year. There's partying well into the night. Daybreak brings kalanda singers, those groups of children who travel door to door on Christmas Eve, wishing good fortune on their neighbors. They make a return appearance, singing best wishes for health and good fortune for the coming year. Singers might carry apples or oranges to symbolize plenty, or the little decorated boats in honor of St. Basil. Singers are invited inside on New Year's. It's been the custom in farm communities for the singers to sit on the floor because it ensures the farmers' chickens will sit too and lay more eggs for the coming year. My favorite story from Megas, who wrote his book in 1963, is a tradition from Limnos. Village children traveling house to house carry a basket. They're welcomed in, invited to sit for the good of the hen laying the eggs. After the children impart their good wishes, they're rewarded with lukumi, more popularly known as in English as Turkish delight. They drop their lukumi into their treat basket and run out of the house clucking like chickens. They'd move on to the next house and repeat, clucking like chickens across the village with a basket full of lukumi. That would start my new year off right. That's hilarious. There are myriad ways of ensuring good luck, good health, and prosperity for the coming year. That pomegranate that's been hanging on the front door since Christmas for good luck, or maybe sitting on the home altar. Pomegranate or rodi symbolized fertility and eternal life to the ancients. To modern Greeks, it equals good fortune and good health. Time to take it outside New Year's morning and smash it on the threshold of the house. The more seeds that scatter across the ground or stoop in front of the house, the better luck you'll have. If the seeds are fat, red, and juicy, all the better. On her website, The Greek Vibe, Maria Paravantas says the pomegranate has as many seeds as the days of the year and a wish for each. Pomegranates are such good luck. They'll bring you good fortune if you dream about them. Some folks have their pomegranate blessed at church before hanging it on the front door at Christmas, or have it blessed at the New Year's liturgy. In any case, use your right hand for hurling that fruit. Our daughter did a great job this year. What a mess. The person who smashes the New Year pomegranate may also be to Budoriko, the first person to step into your house on New Year's Day, bringing good luck. Depending on the family or maybe the region, family members living in the house may or may not be counted as the first person. Greeks tend to decide who that person's going to be ahead of time to better the odds. If you're good, clean, happy, prosperous, kind, you're a good candidate. Children are considered perfect for the first step because they're pure of heart. In Kriti, the first person should be a stranger. Tradition says the stranger brings a large stone to put in the middle of the house to sit on while wishing the family a prosperous new year or good livestock or productive hens. You can see this goes back a ways. And that gold, the weight of the stone, might enter the house. Sounds like the stranger was contracted for the job and he always received a reward after his duty was done. In some regions, the first person coming into the home, always right foot first, steps on a piece of iron so everyone in the house will be strong. In other parts of Greece, mossy stones placed near the front door to step on before entering offers good omens. Another custom requires the first person should carry an icon in front of them as they enter the house. World Book says the tradition on the island of Amorgos is for the first person to come from church, carry an icon, take 2 steps into the house, inviting good luck, and then take 2 steps back to push out the bad luck. Then 2 steps forward again before smashing a pomegranate. It sounds almost like a dance. In Kabbalah, the first person used to be a sheep or a goat. If the critter steps in with his right foot, good luck. Left foot, not so good. Dipping a finger in a jar of honey to taste makes the new year start with something sweet, and the whole year will be sweet. Opening all the windows in the house to let out the remaining bad luck and let in the good luck of the new year. Turning off all the lights in the house and turning them back on at midnight. In Tassos, families throw olive leaves into the fireplace, making a silent wish. The leaf burning the brightest is the wish that will be granted. I like this custom of Heraklio and Kriti. On New Year's Day, people stuff themselves with bougatsa, a delectable pastry of creamy custard with orange zest, wrapped in phyllo. Oh. Greek City Times describes the streets full of vendors selling bougatsa on New Year's Day, and it sounds like heaven. Of course, one of the best ways of ensuring a harmonious and fortunate household is to be kind. Don't cry, argue, or lose anything on that first day of the year. Lots of luck with the last 2. With all the partying and the card playing that's popular on New Year's, someone is bound to argue or lose something. If only it means losing the game. Winning a game of cards on New Year's means a year of good luck, which might explain Satsa con Costas, who never won. White dogs are welcome in the house. Like to just walk in? In Karpathos, folks would bring in a white dog into their house, feed it baklava to give the household strength of body and spirit. How many white dogs do they have in Karpathos? Or is the same dog dragged all over the place eating baklava all day? Black dogs not allowed. Hey, we have 2 black dogs, and they and their brindle sister are the very best of luck to us, so I don't know what that's about. In Syros, the custom was for the women to empty every pitcher of water in the home to refill with fresh St. Basil's water from the community well. Megas documented the custom of the oldest person in the house examining the carcass or breastbone of the chicken eaten at the New Year's feast. A dark color means a good year. Transparent bones mean a house destined for a lean year. Here are a few others. Bay leaves might hang above doorways for protection. They symbolize wisdom, peace, and protection. Hanging onions on the front door goes back to the 6th century BCE. Ancient Greeks believed onions had mystical powers and considered them a symbol of growth, rebirth, even eternity, because onions sprout even after they're dug up. We're talking about wild onions or squash, sometimes called scilla. They invade my garden year after year. This year, I'm going to save one in a pot before the frost and hang it in front of our door for good luck. You hang the onion on the front door or set the pot next to it on New Year's Eve. The next day, bring it inside for the rest of the year. Greek reporter said, is it believed it brings longevity, health, and good luck to everyone in the house. Of course, the greatest symbol of bounty and good fortune is the feast. And the New Year's feast has always been lavish because, according to Megas, abundance of food on New Year's Day warrants an abundance of goods all year round. Pomegranate sweets and honey represent abundance. The centerpiece might include an olive branch for good health and coins for prosperity. It's a day to welcome everyone. We mentioned that a place is set for St. Basil. Often a place is set for the poor, and doors may be left open so passing strangers in need can share the meal. Greeks begin the New Year's feast for St. Basil with the Vasilopita, St. Basil's bread. A sweet bread is par for the course on feast days, but this bread has a little something extra in it. A coin baked inside bringing good luck to the person receiving it. The bread is cut at the start of the meal with a prayer. The first slice is cut for Christ and placed on the home altar. The next is for the Theotokos, the Mother of God. Then St. Basil, then one for the poor, one for the house, and then a slice is cut for each member of the family from oldest to youngest. Everyone anticipates finding the coin in their slice of bread. Greeks have made sweetbreads for feast days since ancient times, but Vasilopita has its own origin story. Legend says while St. Basil was bishop of Caesarea, the citizens were besieged by thieves who stole their valuables. St. Basil was somehow able to retrieve the stolen goods, but an argument broke out among the people as to what belonged to who. St. Basil told the people to make bread and place the coins and jewels inside before baking them. When the bread was cut and distributed, each person miraculously received the item they had lost in their slice. So the coin baked into the bread commemorates this event every year. There are regional customs for the Vasilopita. In some rural areas, a slice was cut for the family mule or goat, who had their pieces served to them by the master of the house. According to Megas, the first mouthful of Vasilopita can be used to interpret dreams. I wish he'd elaborated. I don't know what that means. If anyone does, please contact us and we'll share. Near Patras, young women took a bit of yeast meant for the Vasilopita, salted it heavily, baked it, and ate it before bed. The salted yeast made them thirsty, and if they dreamt of a man giving them water, that would be the man they would marry. Do they still do this in Patras? Even for fun? In a village in Thrace, Megas doesn't tell us which one, more than a coin was baked into the Vasilopita. A leaf and a piece of straw were also hidden in the loaf. Whoever got the leaf in their slice of bread would inherit a vineyard. Whoever got the straw would become a farmer. After the Vasilopita has been cut and the lucky possessor of the coin has been congratulated, Greeks move on to the main dishes of the feast. These may include roast pork, lamb, chicken. Fresh tomato orzo soup is popular, and lahana salata, Greek-style coleslaw dressed with lemon juice, olive oil, and pepper. Awesome. There's stuffed cabbages, beef stew, and a macaroni dish. My mother used to make lasagna. She grew up in an Italian neighborhood in New Jersey. But Tia Alexandra and Alexandra usually made macaroni mekima, macaroni with a meaty tomato sauce seasoned with cinnamon, topped off with grated cheese, Greek comfort food. The feast table might include the offerings of corn for the souls of the dead, who returned during the 12 days of Christmas to the places they lived in. Sometimes this is called St. Basil's koliva. Koliva being the sweetened wheatberry dish eaten in memory of the dead. Popular desserts are the ubiquitous baklava, melmakarna, bugatsa, and diplis, a delicately folded fried dough drizzled in honey and sprinkled with cinnamon that some claim resembles the swaddling clothes of the baby Jesus. Everyone enjoys the feast, but when the New Year's Day ends, the 12 days of Christmas have not. This seems like a good place to drop the story of the fourth wise man. It's sort of a Christmas story, But the Magi traditionally reached the Christ child days after his birth, celebrated by many people as Three Kings Day, which falls on January 6th, the same day as Epiphany or Theophany. The Greek version of wise men traveling to witness the birth of Christ tells us there were originally 4 wise men, not 3. They were Persian masters of astronomy, following the great star that suddenly appeared in the night sky to visit the newly born king. As they were traveling in the direction of Bethlehem, they came across a badly injured man. 3 of the wise men, Gaspar, Melchior, and Balthasar, hurried along on their way. But the 4th wise man, Artaban, stopped to care for the unfortunate man. Artaban carried 3 precious gems with him to present as gifts for the baby Jesus. He sold one to care for the injured man, planning to catch up with his comrades in Bethlehem when he could. But when he finally reached Bethlehem, Artaban found that the Holy Family had already escaped to Egypt ahead of the treachery of King Herod against the babies in Bethlehem. He used a precious gem to bribe a soldier into allowing a mother to escape with her baby. He went on to search for Jesus for 33 years until he finally arrived in Jerusalem just before the crucifixion. He planned to use the last gem to ransom the life of Jesus, but he encountered a young woman about to be sold into slavery, so he purchased her freedom with the last gem. As Jesus died on the cross and the sky became dark, an earthquake shook the ground. Artaban was fatally wounded by a falling tile, but before he died, he heard the words of Jesus saying the 4th wise man had ministered to him. When Artaban protested, Jesus said, "Truly I say to you, inasmuch as you have done these things for the least of my brothers and sisters, you have done all these things for me." In this way, the 4th wise man was the one who truly found Christ, because he helped those in need. The last major feast day celebrated during the 12 days of Christmas is Epiphany, often referred to as Theophany, the manifestation of God. It celebrates the baptism of Jesus in the River Jordan by John the Baptist, and the revelation of his existence as part of the Holy Trinity, along with the Father, whose voice is heard during the baptism, and the Holy Spirit, which appears above the head of Jesus as a white dove. It's one of the 2 times the Holy Trinity reveals itself to mankind. This is another joyous day when the waters of the world are blessed, the Kalikantsri make their speedy exit to the underworld. In churches, liturgy is celebrated, water is blessed, the priest blesses the people with the now holy water. Then every community gathers at the water, whether sea, lake, river, stream, whatever. There a priest will read the gospel of the day and release a dove representing the Holy Spirit. The priest or bishop chants prayers for blessing the body of water from a pier or a boat or the land beside the water, and throws a large cross into the water where it is usually freezing. Young people, usually boys, dive in to find the cross, and the one who finds it and returns it to the priest is blessed for a year. Here's an FYI. The largest Epiphany celebration in the world is Tarpon Springs, Florida, the town with the highest percentage of ethnic Greeks in the U.S. We'll link a video in the podcast notes. We'll also link my favorite video of a priest blessing his congregation with holy water in a church in Greece. It's great. Check it out. Surprise! More feasting! Family and friends will gather for another communal meal to celebrate this holy day. In Greece, there's more fireworks and bonfires because that's how they roll in Greece. Epiphany is the name day celebrated by Fotis, Fotini, Theophanis, Theophania, Ioannis, and Urania. Finally, on January 7th, the Orthodox honor St. John the Baptist, the prophet and forerunner, a special day for those named Ioannis, like my papu and my son, Ioannou, Prodromos, Prodromia. Wishing all of you health, joy, and abundance for the new year. May you have as many coins in your pocket as there are seeds in a pomegranate. Thanks for listening. Greek Like Me is a Stealth Greek production. This episode was researched, written, and narrated by me, Pamela Diodes Wood. Our producer, photographer, and post-production editor is Douglas John. Visit our website at stealthgreek.com for resources, photos, links, and more. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Greek_like_me. Rate, like, and subscribe to help us keep making content about Greeks and Greek culture.
Γεια σας και καλή χρονιά.